Hello, this video is a warm-up to the work you're going to be doing this week in Module number 1. Many of you may be asking, what should I do to start working on Module 1? Well, this video I'm going to quickly explain what you need to do. We're going to be working on one module a week, and each module is made up of 3 parts. I've listed them here. You'll be assigned a reading from the textbook, and you'll be assigned to look at several narrated slideshows, which leads to a quiz which you need to take. All of this is on Blackboard. You then need to read the class discussion prompt. It'll be based on the reading and the narrated slideshows that you were dealing with for that week. This week we're dealing with nerves, public speaking and stage fright, and you'll be asked to answer a question based on that topic. And then you need to work on your project. For the first 3 weeks, 3 or 4 modules, we'll be working on project number 1. And project 1 will be due on September 1st. And as with all the projects, you will place the work in your blog area. That's the student blog area, not Professor Winson's blog area. So here we are in the Blackboard course, and you could see here we're at the announcement section. It's usually where it opens up in Blackboard. And when you're ready to start on Module 1, which we start working on this week, the second week of the class, just click on where it says Modules. That's where you're going to always start each week. You'll see where it says Modules. Just click on that. And when it opens, you'll see some explanations at the top about when everything is due. The class discussion will be due by Friday. That's the prompt that you'll be answering in the discussion board and replying to someone else. By Sunday, you should have the quiz completed for each week. So by the end of week 2, you should have the module number 1 quiz done. Module number 1 is available now. You can take a look at it. And let's take a look at what it is. It's inside a folder here. So I'm going to open up module number 1, what is public speaking. You can see here a summary of what's in the folder. And so I'm going to open up this folder right now. So we're inside module number 1 folder, and you'll see that each of the folders in each module will contain 3 things. It'll contain an area in which you need to read about and watch a narrated slideshow on the topic of the week. This week we're talking about speaking in public, focusing on stage fright, and at the end of the reading there's also a quiz that is in that folder. Then once you've done that, you need to go to the class discussion board. You'll just click where it says class discussion. So I've clicked on where it says class discussion. We're in the class discussion board folder. You're going to scroll down to the module that we're working on, and it'll be here, class discussion for module number 1, right at the top. So you click right there, and when it opens, you find your section. If you're in section 13, then you click here. If you're in the section 15, the Seek section, you click here. If you're in section 22, you click there, and then you add your reply and reply to at least one other student in the class. Make sure that you go to your section to add your discussion. And so that's the second thing you need to do, which is add your class discussion. For this week, I'm asking you to consider nerves when you have public speaking. In the discussion board from last week, many of you said that you were having fears about getting up in front of the class, or even creating a video. That seems to create some trepidation in some of you, and so I'd like us to think about that and read about it and learn about what it is to be nervous in front of people. It's a very natural thing. And so I'm asking you to answer this prompt. For many of us, the greatest fear is speaking in public. And what is the difference between speaking to a group of your friends and speaking in public? I'd like you to address that. How is creating a video and presenting it on YouTube different than just talking amongst your friends, or Skyping them and using the video that way? And then I'd like you focus on why do you get nervous in public. Make sure that you answer these questions by referring to your own experience, but you should also be referring back to the textbook. back to the narrated slideshows and the other reading that I gave you in the folder at the top. Then the last thing you want to do, once you've taken the quiz, you've read the textbook, you've looked at the narrated slideshows, you've put your discussion in the discussion board and replied to someone else, then you want to go to project number 2, and that's the third thing in the module, and you want to start working on project number 2. This project will be presented in class. For those of you presenting in class, September 24th and October 1st. For the hybrid sections, those that are using video to present their ideas, you will need to place your video into a project number 2 blog space. Okay, so I've opened the project number 2 folder. You'll see this project 2 folder in the modules modules 3 and 4, and it will link to this folder so you can remind yourself what's required. But you need to work on this project for the next 3 weeks, and you'll be putting your work for this project in a new blog, which you're going to be calling project number 2. The explanation for the project is listed right up here. It's called Analyzing a Photograph, and there's a sample of the project here in a blog format, so you can see what it looks like. And so what I'd like to do right now is take a look at the sample and go through the different steps that you need to develop as you work on project number 2. Okay, so here we are in a sample of project number 2 that I developed to show you what goes into your project, and you should develop and form the project in the same way that you see it here, so that at the top you have the title of the blog, project number 2. You can give it a further title if you want, but it should say at the beginning project number 2. Remember, in order to start your blog, you click on New Entry, which is over here on the right, and then you want to save it when you're done working. And then when you come back and continue to work on it, you want to click on where it says Edit, and then you can continue to work on it. This project is broken up into 5 steps. Let me take you through them now. You should be developing them in this order, starting from step number 1, working through to step number 5. You do not need to do it all at once. I'd like to see some work every week so that you can work with your own schedule, but I need to see some work every week. So for instance, you probably want to do step number 1 and step number 2 this week, maybe get on to step number 3 next week, and then step numbers 4 and 5 you'll be working on for the following week. So I do want to see some work every week. I will be looking at your blogs every week on Thursdays and Fridays and putting in notes telling you what I think, how I think your project is progressing. Okay, so now let's talk about the project itself. Step 1, using your general group topic area, I used U.S. politics for this sample. I want you to find a photograph from a credible website that has something to do with your focus that you want to maybe focus your informative speech on, but it should be a photograph that has some kind of content. I chose this photograph here. I thought it was kind of interesting, and I talked about this photograph of a crowd standing and looking at these 2 men, and all we see of them are their pants, and they're standing up there on the box. I then also threw in a second photograph which shows you who they are, but for my video that I will develop in step number 4, I just refer to this one photograph. So all you need to do is find one photograph. If you want to find several, and then say I'm not sure which one I want to use, and then I'll get back to you on Thursday or Friday of this week, and we'll let you know which one I think is the one that you should use for this project. Or you can just include one photograph that you are going to be including for this project. So the first, for step number 1, and I'd like you to label it step number 1, do it just like it is here. You can start with a little statement like this, and then follow with the photograph or photographs that you're thinking of using. Going on to step number 2, again, I'd like you to label it step number 2. I'd like you to answer these 3 questions. What do I see in this photograph? And then I'd like you to, in a narration, in a short paragraph, describe what you see in it. This is just an objective view of what is seen in the photograph. You don't interpret it, you just what's going on there. The next thing is I want you to say, what do I know about this photograph? This is basically where you got the where it comes from, any information you have about who's actually in the photograph, what's going on, what's the event, what time of year it is, anything that you learn about the photograph from the website that you got it from. The third thing I'd like you to write about in a short paragraph is, what does this photograph mean to me? Here's where you're going to get into your interpretation of the photograph and your opinion of the photograph. Anything that deals with your ideas goes here. But remember, in the first two, you do not want to throw in your ideas. You just want to either describe what you see in the first and then tell us what you know about the photograph from the website. It's in the third one that you want to give us your opinion, your ideas, your interpretation. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is I want you to take all of the ideas that you created in step number 2 and develop a 3 main point outline. Notice that this is a 3-tiered outline. It has main points. There's the first main point, describe the photo. Second main point, what do I know about this photo? And the third main point, what does this photo mean to me? Those are the 3 main points. And then we've broken up the main points into subpoints. Notice that the first main point is broken up into what is in the background of the photo and what is in the actually what's in the foreground of the photo, and then what is in the background of the photo. And then each of those is broken up into subpoints. You can use a different way of organizing each of the main points, but I want each main point to reflect exactly what it is here. Describe the photo, what do I know about the photo, and then what does this photo mean to me? Notice that in the second main point I throw in a citation where I got the photo from, and then I include information that I learned about the photo from that website. What does the photo mean to me? This is going to require some critical thinking on your part, and you're thinking about how you would interpret this photo. Now you can certainly use mine as a way of beginning to think about how to interpret a photo, but what I do in the fourth step is I take my outline and I practice it, saying it out loud, making sure that I introduce myself at the beginning, let my viewer know what my project is, and then I'd like you to create a 2 to 3 minute video. Now my video is a little long. It goes over 3 minutes, and I may have to do it again, but you'll notice that in the video I go through my 3 main points and I show a printout of the photo that I chose. So I'd like you to take a look at this video as an example of what your video should look like. When you're all done, in step number 5, I'd like you to evaluate your peers. I'd like you to go take a look at 2 of the projects of your peers from your group, and I'd like you to take a look at their video and give them some feedback on what you think about their video and their outline and their project in general, and you can do that down here in the comments area. Of course, I'd also like to hear comments from you about what you think about this sample project is. Okay, so that's module number 1. You need to start working on that this week, starting on Monday. If you have any questions, please make sure to email me at awinson@jjaycony.edu, and I'll get back to you within